Hello, hello, hello. I am Matt Williamson, at Williamson NFL. Give me a follow, spread the word. A lot more downloads than ever on this podcast. Must be catching on. Love it. I wouldn't mind for this weather to break, but just to pull back curtain, I am going to the Combine. So all day Monday and all day Friday are basically travel days. I'm on the air for 5 hours. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from Indy, and we'll have all kinds of good stuff there. Check that out as well. So I'm going to give you this one today, and I'll probably record some kind of Combine preview on Sunday, and then the next time I'll record, I would imagine, will be Tuesday from my hotel room. So I just finished my top 5 quarterbacks and wanted to start with that. And I think this is not a great quarterback class, but comparing it to the Pickett one's a little rough for me. I mean, especially knowing the results we got from that class, the Ritters and the Howes and all those dudes, Willis. I have more, especially from a Steeler perspective, I'm kind of excited about the round 2, 3, 4 guys for the Steelers. And I'm not saying they're going to be the next Roethlisberger or Bradshaw. That's not what I mean. But I think you can get value there and maybe strike gold. But Cam Ward is clearly my number 1 quarterback, and it really isn't even close. Now, I'm not saying he's quite on the level of Caleb Williams, May, Daniels, Lawrence, Luck, et cetera, but I think he's far and away the best quarterback prospect in this draft. And I think he deserves to be... I think when it's all said and done, it's all smokescreen, it's lying season, I think Ward will be the first quarterback taken and will probably be the first player taken. Like Hunter from Colorado and Abdul Carter from Penn State are really good prospects too. And when we get to their positions, I'll brief you on them as well. But I think either Tennessee or a team like the Raiders or Giants moves to 1, takes Ward because he's a playmaker. I mean, he's what you're looking for in today's quarterback. There's a lot of upside here. Big arm, really tough and tenacious, very confident. I mean, he's certainly a big-time athlete, big, strong guy, mature. All the off-the-field stuff sounds really good. And I'm not saying he's going to be a star, but I think if you're looking for quarterbacks, especially in the first pick in the draft, you want to at least see a path where he could become a star. And I am really warming up to him more and more. And frankly, I think he's heads and shoulders above everybody else in the class. Now, here's where it gets fun. Is everyone on the planet has Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, as the number 2 quarterback. I don't. I have him 3. I'm not that impressed. He's a really good passer. He really controls the football well. He throws with touch, anticipation, accuracy. There's a swagger there. I mean, I'm sure his upbringing had something to do with it. But here's my concerns is I'm sure he's athletic enough. And if his last name was Williamson, maybe I wouldn't be as hard on him. But he's not close to the athlete his father is. Not even close. And frankly, amongst these top quarterback prospects, he's on the low end. So athleticism for today's NFL starting quarterback is going to be subpar. So he's not a great improv player. He doesn't juke your socks off as a runner. And now I will say his O-line and situation in Colorado wasn't great, besides his number 1 receiver, which was awesome. But boy, he holds the ball a long time and really invites sacks and doesn't elude all that well. And I heard a comparison that I really liked, but I kind of look at that as the high end. Geno Smith, who I often tell you guys is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. But if that's your ceiling, I have a hard time using the 2nd through 8th pick on that guy, And I don't know how the league looks at him, but it sure seems like he's firmly quarterback 2 and maybe even quarterback 1 for some. He's my third. And frankly, I would, from a Steelers perspective, I'd love to see like the Browns take him, use their first round pick on a guy like that. Plus, I'm sure there's going to be drama is probably not the right word, but maintenance with his father and all that entails. I mean, you can't overlook those things. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA to college basketball to the NHL to UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Here's the part of the quarterback class that I'm starting to warm up to, these next few names. And I am becoming smitten with this guy, Tyler Shough. It's not spelled that way. Shough, Louisville. He's 6'5", 225, 230, something along those lines. He's a big man. He's a Josh Allen, Ben Roethlisberger looking man. And I say man because he's old. He will turn 26 years old in September. He has 4 degrees. He's been to 3 different schools and has 7 years of college experience. So obviously you have to take that of, is he just a man playing against boys? Because this last year at Louisville, he was phenomenal. He was really, really good to Senior Bowl. He's had some injuries, which has contributed to his length of stay at the college level, of course. But think of him in this light. I mean, when he was a pup coming out of college or out of high school, he went to Oregon and was like chiseled in stone. He's going to be Justin Herbert's successor. He's super similar. Didn't work out that way. But that's the kind of specimen he is. He's a lot like Justin Herbert or a Roethlisberger. I mean, these are big names. And I know people are like, who is this dude you're talking about? Well, it sounds like the draft communities, the draft nicks, the guys that aren't in the league. Most of them had him as like a 5th, 6th rounder. And then he goes to the Senior Bowl. And now everyone's talking about him on day 2. And frankly, the minute I saw him, I'm like, and I put this tweet out, I'm like, if I'm the Steelers, I'll give you my 3rd round pick today for him. And now, as we get deep into February, I think I'd give up the 2nd round pick for Tyler Shough today. He might be it. Now, again, there are concerns there, but those are the kind of cracks I'm looking at. And I don't really care that he's that old, other than, was he just a man playing against boys? But at that position, it's not like you're a D lineman. You're just so much physically stronger than the 18-year-old trying to block you. I mean, it's just, he's mature. He's been around the block, to say the least. But that's my guy this year, especially for the Steelers. Jackson Dart is kind of the consensus number 3, Mississippi. I think there's a chance he ends up in round 1. I've seen him mocked at 21 to the Steelers. I get it. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. He is big, strong specimen. He's only 6'2", but he's well built. He's a good athlete, good arm, aggressive. I think, teammates get behind him easily. And there's a lot of buzz around him, but I thought people really overreacted to his Senior Bowl. I mean, he was kind of one of the best of a bad group. I wasn't like, whoa, holy cow, who's that dude? But the offense he's in, back to the Pickett class, is the Matt Corral offense, where one read, if it's not there, run. Like, he really doesn't go through progressions. Teams took away the deep ball against Mississippi, and they really had little answer. Their extremely well offensively coached, and a lot of what happens is due to what happens on the sideline and coaching rather than execution, which you can get away with at college to some degree until you play the Bamas and teams like that. I like Dart. I think he would definitely need a year to really go through things. Like the Senior Bowl, he struggled with quarterback center exchange. You know what I mean? Like there's some basic stuff that is, to be determined or very, very raw with this guy. Jalen Milroe, Bama. I wanted to like him more, and I'm still holding a candle out for him. He's 6'2", 225, really well built. Academic All-American, really smart, an elite athlete. Like he may run in the 4.3s next week, and he's more physical runner than like a Lamar. You know what I mean? Like he will run through you. He will run away from you. He's a good deep passer. But the rest, he is really problematic to like an Anthony Richardson degree as a short and intermediate thrower. And it can get better, but boy, he misses so many layups and, just throws you have to make at the next level. And you knew that going into the Senior Bowl. But then he has a really small hand size. And I know we've just been down that road with Kenny, blah, blah, blah. But it worries me, especially with his style of play. I mean, as much as he carries the football, fumbles in the pocket. And I really think the hand size might correlate to him not being able to control the football in the short to intermediate passing game. He really has to load up, and he throws a lot of fastballs when he should throw changeups. And I think he kind of has to because of his gripping of the football and whatnot. Plus, he has never really played in weather that he would have to in Pittsburgh, and in small hands on top of that. I think that's enough today. I mean, again, subject to change on all these dudes. That's enough of a red flag for me to be like, that's not. And then one more thing to overcome that I don't love. I mean, originally I thought if they sign Fields, draft Milroe, run these guys like crazy, and that still might work. But I was thinking more of like a second rounder. Now I'm like, I might be in on a fourth rounder on this guy. But there are tantalizing tools. I mentioned that that's a top 5 for me. There's 4 or 5 others that I think will be successful pros. That doesn't mean they're the next Dak Prescott or Purdy or Brady. But I think these guys are going to go rounds 3, 4. Texas's Quinn Ewers. I don't really see it. He was a super recruit. Got a good arm. He's got good tools, but he doesn't look like the top recruit in the country. And there's been a lot of inconsistencies at the college level. Oregon's Dylan Gabriel. He's little. I mean, he's a short lefty, obvious Tua comparisons. If you really squint, you could say Russell Wilson comparisons, but he's not as gifted as Russ ever was. He's a timing and rhythm type dude that would fit that Dolphins Tua offense really, really well. Leader, smart, great recognition. I just see a very low ceiling for him. Curtis Rourke is a guy I really like from Indiana as well. Really had a breakout season and played the entire year with a torn ACL. So if you're like, well, I don't know if that guy's athletic enough. Well, we'll see, but he couldn't really be athletic enough because of his injury that he played through. And I'm sure a lot of you have watched Ohio State. I'm a big fan of their quarterback as well. I mean, Will Howard really he was loaded with talent around him, of course. But he's a plus athlete. He was really good through the playoffs. Mature. He's been around the block as well. He probably would be my number 6 right now. I was torn between him or Milroe. And then speaking of Ohio State, the guy that Will Howard took over for was Kyle McCord. So he transferred to Syracuse and kind of just got a load lifted off his shoulders. The expectations with the Buckeyes was, national championship or you suck. With Syracuse, it was much different. And he had a really good year for Syracuse. I just think he's a little bit of a throwback pocket passer, though, only. Like, he's not a total stiff, but in today's NFL, I don't see enough athleticism and playmaking skills for him to be worth more than a, 4th, 5th round pick at best, basically. Well, depends what kind of offense you're running. I mean, I would think that the Steelers are looking for more athleticism than what he brings. So all in all, I don't hate the class. I don't think it's very top heavy. I really only see one guy that I would use an early pick on. And I might get to the point with my man from Louisville, if this thing rolls along, that I might even say 21. If you think he's a guy, what's too early? But he's my favorite, Tyler Shough. All right, take care, everyone.